Howdy, y'all. Some of y'all are way out there in Tennessee and refusing to let us know what's going on there in Tennessee, but that's okay. Seen some information that it's looking like a fun time from Old Berg and from Corvette Piper Jim. Not gonna spoil their videos, but well, that's where I've found so far. And let's see, what have I gotten today? Well, sort of today. I got a box from a guy. We're starting to know him pretty well. His name would be Jose Golf Piper, not to be confused with Jose Cavendish. There's more than one Jose out there in the world. It's actually a very popular Latin American name. So, yeah, there's going to be more than one Jose. Howdy, Chip. Oh, not a problem. Hopefully you are doing well, Chip. Hopefully you're doing real well. I don't know what Jose sent me. Jose said, you know what? I'm going to send you some cigars. And I said, you know, don't. Just don't. And he said, but I'm going to. It always makes me feel a little self-conscious. So there's the note. I think I could show that note. Enjoy, take care, Jose. Howdy, Cedric. Great to see you, sir. All right, so I don't know what cigars are in here. There's Martin, who did not go live at the Muletown Pipe Show, and of which people were contacting me, wondering what in the hell, how come there wasn't a Matches 860 live smoke. Did you eat any eggs? What was it like meeting Cliff for the first time? Inquiring minds there, Martin. Hopefully you took a lot of video, because you're going to have to, you got some splaining to do. Actually, it's fine. I understand. If you get busy and you can't do a live broadcast, you know what? Yes, I'm going to tease you a little bit about it. No, I'm not being serious about it. Lots of video recordings. So he's back to the edit machine, going nuts, I am certain. Alright, now I'm being very careful about opening up any package that has cigars, and especially when you see someone has taken the time to really wrap them well. Lots of bubble wrap for making sure that they don't get jostled around. And yes, I did sharpen my knife for this on purpose, just in case, mostly because I couldn't hear anything moving inside of a box this size, and I was like, what the hell? That's all. Okay, so one of the first things I see, Jose has sent me a very good friend of mine. Sore as all get out. Come on, Martin. Oh, I'm sure Martin has a million Instagram messages. I'm also certain that there's a lot of people that were a little bit miffed at Martin because he didn't go live. We did all of that work just to check. Good morning, B-Gnome. Great to see you, sir. And Steve and Miss Kathy, great to see y'all as well. We did all of that work on the live, testing the live feed ability to see if he could go live during the pipe show, and then he just like, whatever. In Spanish, there would be a statement similar to pobrecito, but no, we won't go there at this point. Not a problem, Martin. You know, I'm just playing. I am just picking on you. Yeah, Cedric, with the fact that I only saw 2 videos yesterday, one from Corvette Jim and one from Old Berg, I was starting to wonder, did the government show up and decide that they were going to have their own particular way with everybody and anybody who was at the show? Okay. Jose. Oh, man. First one I pull out. Jose. We could be friends. Howdy, Matthew. Great to see you, sir. All right. First one that I pulled out. Now, this is a Robusto size, so just letting you know, but that is the original Alec Bradley Prensado. That is definitely a good cigar. Well, Martin, there's sure we're friends, and then there's, yeah, we could be friends. Binome, I gotta roll back down to your comment. Oh, okay, busy wheeling and dealing, not a problem. Yeah, I was shocked that nobody was throwing videos up left, right, and sideways from there. I figured it would be hectic on how many I'd have to watch. I did the tailgate, and then nothing went live afterwards. I was like, cigar number 2. Herrera Esteli by Drew Estate. And look for that blue band. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a damn good cigar. Those two alone, seriously. If somebody was just to walk up and hand me those 2 alone, they would have to do something drastic for them to not be a friend of mine anymore. Smoking Buddy Matt, howdy sir, great to see you. Okay, now this one is by Drew Estates. It is a 5.5 by 52, which makes it a fat Robusto. It is somewhere in between a Robusto in length and a Toro. But it's too fat to be anything other than a Robusto. It's not fat enough to be a double Corona. It's okay. Muwat. Muwat brand Subculture. All right, I'm just going to tell you right now. If you're looking for any of these, they're decent. They're decent. They're made by Drew Estates. I've smoked them a bunch of times. And I mean, what am I supposed to tell you? Yeah, Steve, I'm right there with you. I spent like all day back and forth. Saw a couple of things posted from Instagram, but not like a lot. Didn't see anything posted on Twitter. And nothing on YouTube. Like, until the end of the day. The very end of the day. All right. This is Hoya, Joya, not Hoya. Pronounced the same, just spelled different. Kind of like John Coffey. Okay, this is the Cabinetta. And if you look real carefully, you'll notice that there are two different bands here. So there's a Maduro and a Natural. And it might even be that one is a Connecticut. One sort of out of Texas. Okay, it's made in Nicaragua, don't get me wrong. But the company is owned out of Texas. So this is an Intemperance by Roma Craft. And if you're looking for that, that's capital R, little O, capital M, little A. And if we can get this to show up. That is a T and an X. Now, Mr. Rosales and Mr. Martin, not the Martin we all know, but Rosales, R-O, and Martin, M-A, and that's where they decided to get that name from for Roma Craft. Matthew, I don't believe I've had those. Okay, now this is going to be an interesting, and I'm going to give y'all a live review of this one at some point. But there's the Kentucky Fire Cured. Now, y'all remember I've said I've had these before, and they leave a little bit of a charcoal flavor for me. I'm going to try it again because I was sent it, and I will. Oh, by the way, that is also from Drew Estates. Did I ever tell you that Drew Estates makes some damn good cigars, and a lot of them are not names that you're going to notice? Oh, here's one Martin's going to love. And James too, if he's out there. Tobacco Special. Of course, this is the Negra. You will notice that it has a shaggy foot. That's what that's called, a shaggy foot. It is not quite a closed foot, but it's not rolled super smooth. It is, of course, made by Drew Estates, and I guarantee you this is going to taste like coffee. And in fact, I think that's what I'm going to smoke almost as soon as I finish these up. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is another old friend of mine. Also made by Drew Estates. This is one in what I would call the Drew Estates budget line, Nica Rustica. Now, I'm going to let you know, you got to be a little bit careful with this cigar. It looks like nothing. It's got a little bit of a pigtail for a top end, making it impossible to punch cut. No big deal. I can take care of that myself. But It is surprisingly satisfying for such a small stick and at a bonus budget price. I have suggested these to many a person. I will still suggest them to many people. No, they are not a Canuco or a Drew Estates factory smoke. You're going to have to come up a little bit in price for that. But you're not talking about going to the Undercrown or even to the Tobacs. It's still budget friendly. Somewhere between $5 and $7. Last time I checked, the most expensive one was $6.25. But I've heard prices have gone up since then, and taxes might vary in your area. Don't get me wrong. Still a damn good cigar for a really damn good price. I've never seen anybody smoke one and not be like, you know, for the price, that was surprisingly really freaking good. And it's an easy sell. It was a real easy sell. I mean it. All right, Sun-Grown Undercrown. This would be a Robusto. You're looking for that lion. And if you turn it around the other way, you will see that the crown is on the bottom side. Most people only see the lion. They forget to notice the crown on the underside. Undercrown. You get it? What one was that? The one that I said is an easy sell, budget friendly, makes for a decent smoke pretty much any time. That is the Nica Rustica. And of course this one happens to be the Connecticut Broadleaf. I don't think that any of them are anything but Connecticut Broadleaf, but they might have expanded that line in the last couple of years. All right, another one from Aromacraft. Again, this is another Intemperance. It's just a different size. Nope. Actually, it's the same exact one. Both of them. I have smoked a lot of these. Now these are with the brown wording. There is also one with black wording, and there is one with orange wording. And brown is the lightest, black is the next, and orange is the strongest. And you can do that with their bands also. White, brown, black, and then orange. And so the Intemperance tends to be the lightest. You'll see that the white band with the brown wording. It's just something I picked up while I was selling the hell out of them. And I smoked a bunch of them. An aged Undercrown Sun-Grown at Muletown. That's going to be a good one. Howdy, Rustic Piper. Great to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Good seeing you again. And then there is another one from Drew Estates, another Robusto. This is an Undercrown, and this is the Maduro. Jose, you're a madman, brother. You've sent me all these sticks. Holy cow. It's going to take me a while to smoke through most of this. Not all. Most. There's a few of these that I'm going to make sure to put back and save for those rare occasions when I really want something good. Oh, I don't know. probably the first two I pulled out, people think I'm crazy. Let me explain it like this. Not every cigar that I am ultimately a fan of is going to be rated the, oh my God, best cigar on the planet. But the cigars I am really a fan of are definitely going to show up as a damn fine cigar in pretty much everybody's opinion. It's not to say everybody is still going to like that cigar. I know a guy, great cigar salesman, hates cigars that have the note of cedar. Just doesn't like it. He's been working at it. He's finally gotten to the point where limited amounts of cedar in a cigar is okay. But that's his own personal palate. Here's the other side of that. He doesn't give a shit what his personal palate comes to when it comes to selling a cigar. He wants you to get what you want, not the cigar he wants. There's a big difference there. And for a lot of cigar salesmen, that's a very hard difference to make. I know a certain cigar salesman that his favorite was Padron. Anything Padron. If somebody said, hey, suggest to me a cigar, he would say, well, let's go over to the Padron. Granted, Padron are great cigars. We're not going to get wrong on that one. But there were a lot of times where he could have made a better sale with either a less expensive cigar or a cigar more tuned to a person's palate. Everybody's palate is a bit different. If you're lucky, you find somebody who has a palate similar enough to yours that you can just write down, okay, all these cigars that I like, you're going to be real close to liking them too. That's great. When that happens, that's great. That's luck. It happens. Nothing wrong with that. But then there's those times where you find that guy who his palate and your palate don't match at all. And that's when you really got to start working and say, oh, okay, well, let's see if we can't find something that's really to your taste preference instead of just to mine. So, you know, yes, I'll agree with him. Padron's a great cigar. Love Padron. I'd smoke the hell out of them. But they're in my palate. I did tell y'all I was going to smoke the Tobacco Especial. I meant it. Uh-oh. Sorry, Cedric. I didn't mean to do that to you. And Steve, yes, I've noticed that as well. Our palates are similar enough that I can pretty much just say, hey, look, Steve, I kind of like this cigar. And you can pretty much just go, okay, I hear what you're saying. And I'm thinking now that if you were to say, hey, Donald, I kind of like this cigar, you should maybe give it a try. At some point, I'm either going to be like, oh, I've already tried that one. Yeah, those are really good. Or I'm going to be like, okay, well, I'm writing it down right now so that I can also give it a shot. Howdy, Dan. Great to see you, sir. Lurking while making coffee. Well, I'm hoping to make coffee run out my kidneys at some point. I mean, that's what happens when you light a coffee-flavored cigar while drinking coffee, while having a good time conversing with all y'all fine folk. So remember, there is nothing wrong with a shaggy foot. That's what the Tobacco Special has. It is just a different way of wrapping up a cigar. What it realistically is they have wrapped a cigar that they've bunched and bundled to a certain point, and then they quit. But then they didn't cut it off super smooth. You're not going to get a great amount of flavor out of the foot, but it burns off rather quickly, and you'll be right off into the meat of the cigar in no time at all. You pretty much don't get very much flavor out of the foot anyways. Even the best cigars, the foot is just a footnote. It's the body of the cigar that's really going to be what should impress you. Like Backwoods. Oh, come on, Dan. Backwoods is something that I'm pretty certain that Willie would smoke. Especially Backwoods grape. Don't ask me why. Oh, by the way, Martin, did you happen to run into Willie? And did he happen to pass you off a sample? And if that sample is for me, you can keep it. I'm okay with that. Anyhow, this package was supposed to arrive on Monday. It arrived late last night. But post office in, well, where Jose's at, I know them to be highly efficient. At the post office in the Houston area, I know them to be highly efficient. Here's the crazy thing on stuff put in the mail in the Dallas area. If you're in the correct area in the Dallas area, it goes to a large central processing area. They call them CD&P. Don't ask me to start giving you the acronyms. We'd be here forever. From the CD&P, it goes onto the back of a 18-wheeler. because of the amount of mail that goes between Houston and Dallas on a regular basis, there are designated trucks. The guy who drives from Dallas to Houston today will also drive from Houston back to Dallas tonight. And they have many trucks, and they are going pretty much 24/7. There's a truck going from Houston to Dallas, or from Dallas to Houston, and quite honestly, at the same time they're going. If you ever pull up on the back side of a mail truck and you'll see 3 letters dash 3 other letters, if you think about it, you can tell where the truck's coming from and where it's going. Even in your area, and I'm not sure where your area might be, but I'm just going to say, if you think about it, you should be able to tell where it's coming from and where it's going. Houston and Dallas is listed as HOU-DAL. And there are a bunch of other listings. But I'm just giving you a for example. Pretty easy to figure that out, right? Hugh, Dal. Oh, okay, Houston, Dallas. It happens to be on a major freeway in between Houston and Dallas. Yeah. Hugh San, that would be Houston, San Antonio. As I said, there's some ways to tell where they're coming from, where they're going. Easy to tell. But it's only 4.5 hours from the CD&P that this box would have gone to the CD&P that this box would have stopped at on the north side. And then from the north side, because they are fully stocked with people, they will run a shift, and then as soon as the shift is done, various other sized trucks are going to head out. 8-hour shift, bunch of trucks. The bunch of trucks are going to stop in various different places depending upon where things are going. So a mail truck that is going from the CD&P to various different local post offices, they will have one truck that'll stop at 15, 16 different little towns right here in this area. It's a hour and a half one way to get here, and then a 3-hour ring to do that little postal area, and then an hour and a half back. By the end of the day, you're talking about your 8 hours, because you also have to clean, fuel, and you have to stock your truck before your route. So therefore, that's an 8-hour postal shift there for a CD&P to the post office delivery. And then the next day, it'll show up here. So things that should arrive sometimes a little bit slow, they actually get here pretty fast, just because the mail service is pretty decent here in my area. Oh. Now look, there is nothing wrong with backwoods grape if that's what you choose to be smoking. I'm not trying to convince anybody. Howdy, Paul. Great to see you, sir. Paul, I love that you throw that upside down smiley face every time. It just gets me laughing. Steve, oh my God, come on now. You starting walking stamps for those sticks that are going all, or those packages going all over the place. If it ships through Houston, it'll get to you a little bit. It'll get to you a little bit faster for some whatever reason. Howdy, Todd. Great to see you. Who said what? I don't know, but somebody said it. Oh, I am not backwards. Oh, thank you, sir. Great to see you. Are you a cigar and pipe aficionado as well? I tend to smoke cigars during live feeds because they're easier to operate than a pipe. I also smoke pipes quite extensively, but I don't do it on a live feed so much because I'm burning up my Zippo trying to relight all the time. And if you have any cigar or pipe questions, go ahead, throw them out there. We would... new to YouTube, just browsing. Not a problem. Well, if you tend to be into pipes and cigars, we've got a large group of people that would love to hang out with you. Pretty much on a regular basis. Some of the nicest people you've ever had the chance to meet. And I'm not just saying that to promote the group. I'm being honest about that. Dan, that's a cool memory, really. See, my grandfather, on my dad's side, he smoked a pipe. And we'd all go over for just family get together basically, and oh, not a problem. Who? Not a problem. There are a lot of conversations that get into TV shows and films. There really are. Howdy, Sharon. Great to see you, ma'am. Of course, there's also a lot of conversations that get into alcohol. And, well, around here, the rails get yanked out from and under the train on a regular basis. Some say it's going off the rails. I just call it a day that ends in Y. I come across as a good guy. Yeah, well, got you fooled. I appreciate it, sir. Dad, I've read the same thing. I have definitely read the same thing. Yes, films with pipe smoking. I'm going to lose on a lot of these films and TV shows with pipe smoking because I didn't really watch a whole lot of TV. I am not the father of the flame. Oh, Steve, that sucks. I've heard that there is a guy in Las Vegas who will launder things, but I'm not sure about him fixing a bucking spur. Though it is rodeo time, so I mean, if you hurry down here, you might be able to get a new pair. I'll show up at your channel, sure, not a problem. What do I prefer? Cigars and then pipes. Not into cigarettes. I used to smoke cigarettes, don't get me wrong, but that was years ago, and I found that it had an adverse effect on my physical fitness level. And where cigars, you don't inhale them, and pipes, you don't inhale them. Inhaling the smoke from the cigarette made it a little harder to breathe, normally at altitude. Because I'm from low sea level things, you get up towards altitude and it gets a lot harder anyways. But when I stopped doing cigarettes, I found that I could do my job at altitude a whole lot easier. Oh, Dad, you're picking on people in Georgia now, brother. Throwing the deliverance out there. But the bandit's no longer there to save. Oh, wait, never mind. I believe Squeal Like a Pig is also dead. Remember, there was a whole lot of old men in that movie because that movie was made a long time ago. Oh yeah, sniff cigars because cigars are expensive. Howdy, Greg. Greg, I believe that the videos are coming, but everybody seemed to be worried that the internet was a little bit iffy. So they all seem to make videos, and they're going to do a bunch of editing to cut out all the and the, you know, like That way everybody doesn't sound like they're 15 and in front of the camera for the first time. That is true, Dad. Well, I'm in Houston. We've got a lot of people out there in the UK, though. Piper said's in Wisconsin. We got people all over the United States. Some in Canada. Got people from Mexico all the way down to Chile. Got some Australians. We got some from the Orient. One from Tasmania that I know of. Greg, you are the oldest looking 15-year-old I have ever seen, sir. But I'll let you have it if that's the way you want to. Nome is in Georgia, even though Nome is in Alaska. Oh yeah, we've got a real good friend of ours that lives in Finland. And if you don't like Chelsea, don't hold it against him. He's a big Chelsea fan. We get into sports, and there's pretty much nothing that doesn't get discussed sooner or later. We've talked food. Hell, I even made a video on slow pouring coffee once. Oh yeah, that's right. Mr. Panzer is in Switzerland. No jobs on Mars. No jobs here in the Houston area either. Liverpool fan, uh-oh. We do have a good friend of ours in Russia. And we kind of pray for him on a regular basis. Yeah, we got people from all over the planet. And that's what really makes pipes and cigars such a good, interesting community. We have people in this group that really tend to love and get along real well. And they're from places that quite literally might hate each other on a regular basis. And that's something that very few communities out there ever, anywhere, can really get across, is that this whole world might be a lot better place if we could all just sit down and have a pipe and discuss things as humans. Oh yeah, we call it the YTPC, the YouTube Pipe Community. We do pretty much, there's a live show from the pipe community going on every day. Not too many of us talk politics. I do, but I tend to try to refrain from that when it starts getting me banned by YouTube. One crazy, and then, wait, are you trying to say that Miss Kathy is crazy? You better not be talking crap about Miss Kathy there, Steve. We got guy who's in France, and there's a guy in Slovakia. I mean, if y'all start thinking about it, there are more than just a few reasons why people in this community are not even supposed to like each other. Because, media tells us we shouldn't, or some government drawn line on a map says that we're not supposed to. There's a real super nice guy that is Armenian. You've only been on YouTube for 3 days. Well, you're welcome to come back to the YTPC at any point in time when you feel like it. Oh yeah, there's so many reasons why people get upset with one another, and you know what? We've figured out a way to just go, nah. Right? Now, any of y'all want to put up some channels of people who aren't here? Y'all go right ahead. That's not going to offend me any at all. Oh, yes. But for you, football, and for us, football is two different things. Don't worry, I'm not going to argue about that. We might call it soccer over here across the pond. But we're talking about the same football as you do. Howdy, Patrick. Good to see you, sir. Yeah, we definitely don't have a problem finding things that are fun to discuss. That's right, Patrick. I saw that one last night. People were starting to ask me, what in the heck? Yeah, see, I'm a Man U fan. Don't get me wrong. It's because they show up in Houston by invite on a regular basis, and they play soccer here in Houston. And it's really the only elite level of soccer that I get to see live. Now, look, football, as the world calls it, soccer as us damn Yanks call it, you can watch it on TV, okay, but it's so much better to watch live. Just, it is. Oh, all right. Well, who said, let's see. What is your level of cooking? And what is your level of takeaway that is close enough to actually be worth eating? Uh-oh, Big B-Gnome is talking. Atlanta United. I could always go Houston Dynamo. It's a local team. Major League Soccer. Dad, I feel bad for you. Still snowing. I won't see snow probably for another 3 years, but definitely not until next year. See, I'm with Patrick on that. It depends on your cooking skills and what you tend to have right there at the house. If your cooking skills are high, but you don't got crap in the house, I would suggest the takeout. And if your cooking skills are right there with, I can burn a pot of water, then I would suggest takeout. I know people on both those spectrums. I'm a decent cook, but I'd make a sorry-ass chef. I don't do anything fast in the kitchen. Ooh, very nice. So what are you thinking of cooking if you're thinking of cooking it? Happy Sunday, Mr. K.Y. Piper. That is Kentucky, we know. Did you go to Muletown, Kentucky, or did you skip it? You're a lot closer in Kentucky than I am here in Houston. Yeah, Dad, that is also true. If you happen to be in an area where there's some really good takeout, you kind of just flip a coin. But if the best restaurant that you can get takeout from is, McDonald's, then no, I would definitely cook from the house. Okay, so who said? See right here where Chip just typed in a whole bunch of channels? You might like all of those, and quite honestly, I highly recommend all of those. Chip, that's a damn good list, brother. Okay, chicken roast, but feel lazy today. Well, if you have a crock pot, now you're 7 hours or 6 hours in front of me right now, and it is 11 o'clock here. So yeah, that's not going to work because that wouldn't be ready until almost 9 o'clock at night if you threw it in right now. But 20 to 25 minutes in some foil pack with a little bit of lemon and garlic, salt, pepper, and you can have a decent cod meal, which is lazy because it's super easy. Who said, trust me on this one, the best way to grow your channel is to show up on other people's channels when they're going live. Get in, have a good conversation, and you know, you're good to go. Yeah, just the other day I made a chicken broccoli rice casserole that was almost fall out of a boat and hit water easy. Yeah, I have been there where people have asked me what I'm burning. I think the worst one is when I fire up a smoker grill. The uninitiated, they believe that I am going to burn something. The completely initiated know that I'm about to start doing a brisket, and they just bring a plate. Oh yeah, channels. Definitely you'll want to check out Matches 860 because his storytelling style, pace, and everything, you're going to find a lot of good things to work with on his channel. He's passed away, so you're not going to see anything new from his channel, but it's definitely a good one to check out. If you're trying to get into smoking a pipe, Mutton Chop's channel is going to be pretty good. All the rest of those, I definitely would put something up. Though you're not going to really hear anything from Pipe Grump. His videos are great. You're just not going to hear anything. Oh yeah, smoking KY, believe me. When I fire up the brisket smoker, the whole neighborhood starts smelling like smoke. There's been a few people that have called the fire department because people on one side of the street or the other are smelling smoke and they're wondering if something's burning. And well, I've told the story about the time that I chased the vegan or vegetarian people away by making sure to once a month cook a brisket. So I was only trying to be friendly the first time, but they wanted to be crazy about it. All right. And as far as a gluten allergy, so yeah, I got to stay off the breads. unless you bake it yourself. And quite honestly, I would suggest a brown rice instead of a white rice, which might be a little difficult. Wow, Chip's really throwing them out there. Good job, Chip. Thank you, sir. I appreciate all that. If I tried to name all of those off that you just threw out there in 3 shots, I would be forever trying to work that. For anybody watching, Chip's list started at about 50 minutes in and ended at 1:05. So if you need to go back to look through that list, that'll be the thing to do. Yeah, the wash, if you're drying it on the line, the wash might be a little bit ruined. Dan, as soon as I get another brisket smoker, I definitely will. My last one finally rusted out after several years. They're a bit expensive, and with me not having a job, I am not just running out and grabbing one right now. But yeah, another place to find a real easy way to sub a whole lot of us pipe smokers if you want is, I'm going to type this in myself. And then, of course, there is now, BriarReport.com has a list of a whole lot of people in the YTPC where it's just quite easily, you go down, you click, and you go to the next one and click, and you go to the next one and click. He's got it all set up so it's super easy. You're going to find a lot of those channels that were already listed are on the Briar Report. And then, of course, BriarReport.org, which has a lot of, it's more of a magazine format, which makes it real super easy and entertaining, quick read. And the blog that's on there, which always has some sort of a link, which gets you to other things that you might not have gotten to already. Not a problem. Who said what? You take care, be well, and we'll cheer on Liverpool when they're not up against Man U for me, and well, everybody else has got something else. Hopefully we'll see you again soon, sir. Or ma'am, because there's actually no guarantee that it's not female on the other end of that. Felt like a guy, though. The comments were sort of male-ish. At least that's the way it felt to me. Oh yeah, Smoking KY, definitely. I loved it when you go through a live feed and you just go tap, okay, click, okay, sub, done. Tap, click, sub, done. That was so much more. Well, A, it was easy. B, it was just, you didn't even lose out on the conversation that was being had because the video or live feed wouldn't stop. You could just click, 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 and be done. It's too bad that part went away. Oh yeah, especially on a mobile device. I mean, I'm not dragging my computer out here to the front yard so I can smoke a cigar. Doesn't matter how good the cigar is, I'm not dragging my computer out here. And if you've ever experienced the weather in Houston, you'd understand. Heat and humidity is not really the best friend of a computer anyways. So you just kind of say, all right, maybe I'll just keep it to the phone. Well, that was nice. A guy who's only been on YouTube for 3 days, starting a TV and film channel. I know I'll go check him out later when I'm not running a live feed, having good times with y'all. Now, Martin has definitely said, look, he's got about 7 or 8 videos he's got to throw out there once editing is done, and I'm fairly certain there's other people that are in the same boat. They're going like, hey, you know, I just wish somebody had actually gone live from the Muletown Pipe Show. Now, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Muletown still going today? I know Martin was just going for the day. Oh yeah, Patrick Grit. The best computer server rooms on the planet. They keep the air at 52 degrees or less. I'm going to tell a story of when I was an electrician. Okay. When I was an electrician, I was doing some control work in a college. And they had a electrical room and a server room. And both rooms had what's called a VAV. It's a I forget what the acronym stands for, but basically it's a valve. Hot water flows through a little radiator inside of the valve, and there are 2 different valves. One opens the water so that it will circulate through there, so it will heat the room, and one opens up the louver that allows air to flow through. And we were having a problem with, they did not ship enough parts. And I was looking at this, and I started robbing Peter to pay Paul. but I was stealing the parts out of the one in the electrical room first, and then I was stealing the parts out of the one in the server room second. Because in an electrical room and in a server room, you want those rooms as cold as a meat locker. You want them, they will produce plenty of heat. There is no reason to ever heat an electrical room, and there is no reason to ever heat a server room. Variable air right. VAV is a variable air volume. But it's basically, it's a valve. It operates two different valves in some ductwork. So you got a big air handler room, and it'll pump out air at 52 degrees 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, forever. High efficiency things. All they do is cool air and then they pump it out. And all the valves up in the ceiling, the VAVs up in the ceiling, they're the ones that control whether they're going to open up some more hot water so that the air coming across will get warmed up, or if they're going to open up more of the louver so that more air is coming out. It's all controlled so that humans don't have to get up there and do a lot of work. But you go into these rooms with servers and electrical equipment, and after the first day of operation, those rooms are like 80 degrees no matter how hard you pump cold air in there. And I was steadily telling the company I was working for, look, we didn't get all the parts that we were supposed to get, so I'm stealing the useless parts from the server room and the electrical room to install in the human habitation rooms. And then when testing started, they all wanted to jump on my butt because, well, we're not getting any readings from this VAV, and we're not getting any readings from that VAV. I was like, it's in an electrical room. Jam it wide open and leave it alone. You'll never, ever, not even once, need to put heat in that room. Oh, we gotta have it because they wanted it. Okay, well, send me the parts. I'll put them back in there. You got to get the parts from wherever you stole them from and put them back in that one. I couldn't get them to understand. You'll never need to heat an electrical room. You'll never need to heat a server. Very rarely do you ever need to heat a mechanical room. Very rarely. But yeah, I got in trouble because I knew the overall total effect of the uselessness of doing anything other than pumping cold air into an electrical and a server room. Heat is the enemy for all computers and all electronics, including every transformer, every circuit breaker. Every one of those things. Heat is the worst thing. Oh yeah, heating a boiler room, completely useless. But if you go far enough north, you do need to heat boiler rooms because they are scheduled for having human habitation, and most of them have external air louvers to supply the boiler with enough air for it to have accurate combustion without having a problem. And if you go far enough north, sometimes the cold level can overcome the amount of heat that a boiler can produce. Oh yeah, Patrick, believe me, I understand it completely, and was just shocked that the engineering had ever decided to do anything other than straight open duct into the electrical and the server room. Right, so server rooms, at least in this area, they get the phone switching equipment, they get all the little switch gear, stuff like that. And it's normally you got a small wall, and then you have the electrical room, and that's what separates. It's a firewall, don't get me wrong, but it's a small wall in between the servers and the electrical equipment. You never need to ever heat those. It does not matter. Middle of winter, because you don't have to supply outside air for them to work correctly. They just need to be kept cool. The colder the better. And I even told the building engineer who was having the big fit, I said, look, if I could get it to snow in the electrical room, it would almost be cold enough. He couldn't understand it. Well, what happens if it gets cold in there? Well, then the power's off and the duct is not pushing any air anymore because the power's off to the whole building. So, Dan, I mean, yeah, you're right there. You understand. But that's the truth about server rooms and mechanical rooms. If you could get it to just short of snowing, it's still too warm. Quite literally, for the equipment to work at its best peak performance, you want it below freezing. It's still going to produce enough heat that you can't keep it there. It was just like, but yeah, I got in trouble because I took the guts out of some VAVs to make other VAVs work. Because the other VAVs needed to work, and these VAVs, quite literally, like I said, I opened it up and locked it in place in a full open position and shut down the ability for the water to open at all. Chip, that is also correct. Dust is a bad thing for servers. Dan, I am not surprised. Yeah, I mean, if you could go to Antarctica and set up a server room, you still would not be able to keep it cool enough. Oh yeah, server rooms, summertime. Because you knew it was going to be 52 degrees. They weren't turning the heat on in that damn thing. If it's a smart building engineer. Because the smart building engineers would have known that I was right and were like, hell, jam that damn thing open. You could rip the damn VAV out of the ceiling for all of the smart engineer cares as far as their server rooms. More air, colder. That's what you want. And you would have thought that it would have been cool because it was a college. You would think colleges would hire some smart people. Even better, it was an engineering college. Howdy, Mark. Great to see you, sir. Okay. As far as stoving, I don't have any specific knowledge of it, but I would be very careful about doing an aromatic. Dan, that is very true. You can always put a return duct in the server and electrical rooms to pull heat back to other portions of the building, because that's one less BTU that they have to use in other parts of the building, which saves money. Long term saves money. Now, why did I say you got to be a little careful about which aromatics you might stove? Until you're exactly certain of what you're wanting to do. You could really jack the flavor up of your aromatics because they've already got a topping, and that topping could end up doing nothing but turning nasty. Now, I'm not saying that's always going to be true. I'm just saying you got to be careful about that. That's the only thing I know specifically. And I forgot where I read or heard that. And because I don't have an oven that I can use for myself, and I'm not going to use the barbecue pit to stove tobacco. I'm just not going to. But some people really like it. I guess I'm just a fan of being lazy. Oh, I got a ding ding. I have to keep the alert thing on, because Holly is supposed to be telling me what we're doing today once she gets up. As per always, my Saturdays and Sundays are hers. But until she's awake, I'm trying to just stay out of the way and not be loud and obnoxious anywhere near her. Now, I have heard, don't take this as gospel, and maybe somebody else can straighten me out. I might be wrong. If you take a sheet of tinfoil and put a certain amount of tobacco on that foil, and you fold it up into a very small packet that is as much air sealed as you can make it, you can put that in the oven, but I don't know what temperature to go. Do not go, well, let's see, paper burns by itself at 451. So that's Fahrenheit. So if you're going with Celsius, that's going to change also. Dan has homegrown backyard burley? And Everett's not over there raiding your supply? As we all know, Everett loves burley. So 200 degrees, 2 hours. And again, I don't know enough to be anything but dangerous. So me specifically, don't follow anything I'm saying until you've done a little more research on that. Chips said, Welsh Piper 62, see my comment on his second video. Okay. Yeah, Chip, go ahead and put it in here if you want to. Or if you don't remember exactly, you can paraphrase it. I'm pretty certain nobody's going to get mad. And Mark, it'll be okay if you do leave. You can come back. I've still got quite a bit of a cigar here. Tasty cigar. It is, of course, the Tabac Especial. And tastes like coffee. Tastes like coffee and a little bit of cigar in there. I like it. And no, I'm not saying that just because it was sent to me for free. It was a damn good cigar. Okay, Chip says, I would recommend using the mason jar lid in the oven. Also use the ring, but not tight. That will allow pressure to escape the jar, preventing the jar from exploding, while also keeping the moisture in the jar. Well, Smoking KY, it is one of the few cigars that is an infused cigar that I really have never had a problem. They don't put a lot of super sweetness on it. There's a little bit of sweetness, but it's not like they dumped a pound of sugar on it. And while it has a coffee flavor, it is not so standout coffee that you're not going like, oh, it's still a cigar. Yes, sir, Mark. Those Cohibas are damn good sticks. Haven't found many in their lineup that I wouldn't buy several of on a regular basis. All right, so I'm going to read that word for word. I used disposable pie plates with a foil as a lid and used the oven. Made the kitchen smell interesting. Wife not impressed. Oh yeah. Yeah. Anybody who's married knows there's times where just breathing will piss off the wife. Which is why I often enough say, marriage is the #1 cause of divorce. Let's be honest. What you're saying when you ask a girl to get married is, man, I love this relationship so much that I need to get the government involved. Think about it. Think about it. Oh, yeah, yeah. I've only been right 3 times in the whole time I've known Holly. I mean, just saying. I break out my big stone tablet. It's like a 4x6 note card. I use 1-inch letters. I chisel in the date. I don't believe that I will ever fill it up. Dan, yes, telling them to calm down does excellent things. Unless, of course, they are not mad at you. If they are not mad at you, calm down sometimes does work. Say, but you got to say it correctly, such as, baby, relax, I'll handle it. Yes, baby, I'm mad also. I will handle it. You can relax. That tends to work. Okay. But the words, damn it, woman, calm down. Yeah, you done fucked up. Oh, and remember, I'm fine means you should go ahead and put on your suit of armor and run like hell. The suit of armor is so that she can't stick the knife in there and twist while you're trying to get away from her. You don't have to believe me. If you haven't been married, you'll find out. Once it happens, you'll find out. Are you okay, baby? I'm fine. Oh, yeah. What are you fine about? Yeah. Dan, you're a dead man. Dead man walking. Ooh. All right, Mark. Do you have plenty of time to enjoy this, or do you just have a little bit of time and you're going to smoke it furiously? Oh yeah, do whatever you want. Yes, ma'am, what do I want to do? Is the only safe answer on that one. And even that answer is not exactly safe. Okay, then go with the Bolivar Bellicoso. They're both good. I have had both. They're both good. But I think the Bolivar Bellicoso is just a little bit better. And the shape on a Bellicoso is more conducive to really sitting back and enjoying hours worth. Now, I have not had my phone plugged in. I'm going to end this at the 2-hour mark, so I still have a little bit of battery left. Note that we're at 1 hour and 43 minutes in so far. I'm not trying to end early, but I will have to turbo roast this coffee stick. Because I'm afraid my day will end before I get it done, mostly with my life ending. My brother-in-law's, Holly's brother, birthday was yesterday. We're supposed to go out to eat with them, and I figure this might be the only stick I get today. Not that I mind. I like the guy just fine. He doesn't like me at all. Not true. He just doesn't like me anywhere in his presence. Normally. He's an engineer. Something about engineering. They put you through all this schooling, and then they hand you a piece of paper that says you know everything. And then when people don't immediately believe that you honestly know everything, it tends to frustrate you. I know my dad was an engineer. My sister's an engineer. I worked for a whole company of engineers. Both brother-in-laws, well, one is ex-brother-in-law, was an engineer. Oh yeah, Cedric, that piece of paper is impressive. Believe me, it's a very good looking piece of paper. I will give you a for example of the craziness. My sister, engineer, got her engineering degree. One of the first jobs she had was she did engineering on a mechanical room for a very large hospital. She's a good engineer, don't get me wrong. As she went into this meeting with the senior engineers, and she had the acronym HVAC. And instead of asking her brother, the lowly electrician, who would have told her what HVAC meant, she then used the non-acronym for that of high voltage air conditioning. And the other engineers laughed at her. She didn't know why. Later, she called me up. She asked why the other engineers had been laughing at her. And when she told me where they started laughing, I was like, well, that's because HVAC stands for heating, ventilation, air conditioning. She has a piece of paper that tells her she knows everything. But instead of asking a professional, hey, what does HVAC mean? You know, how easy is that question? Especially when it's your brother, who's not going to laugh at you. He's just going to say, oh yeah, that's heating, ventilation, air conditioning. Because she knew I was a high voltage electrician, she thought it meant high voltage air conditioning, because I had mentioned working with some HVAC units not too long before that in some plants. They know everything. Engineers, they know everything. They don't like it when they're told they're wrong. Well, all right, Smoking KY, let's be honest. Google came about as a search engine about 4.5 years after she became a fully papered engineer. So, yeah, her Google foo was weak back then, because Google didn't exist. But, you know, just asking somebody who would know the question, you got to remember, my sister's been an engineer for the better portion of 30 years now. She's older than I am. So I was no longer in high school when she became an engineer, but I was only just barely out of high school. But yes, I knew what HVAC stood for, and she didn't. She knows now, damn it. God, you know, that makes my sister somewhere over 50 years old. I pick on her all the time about that. I'm not 50 yet. I can still pick on her. And then she'll be 55 well before I'm 50. Before I'm 55. So that'll be the next mark where I pick on her. Yeah, but here's one other trait that I've noticed about engineers. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, if you've met anybody who doesn't fall into this category. Engineers all tend to go gray early. And I mean gray. My sister started getting gray hairs at 17. My brother-in-law started getting gray hairs at 17. My brother-in-law, who is Holly's brother, he's younger than me. He looks like he's old enough to be my dad. His goatee, it's excellent. Don't get me wrong, it's excellent. I wish I had his goatee. It's bright white. Reminds you of Mike's hair. His hair is almost solid whitish now. He's younger than me. I mean, there's not like a whole lot of gray hair up there. I mean, yeah, I got some here on the sides and here in my beard. It sort of makes me look 47, 48. And have you seen what I look like when I'm shaved? Just go back a couple of months. You'll see it. I do not look like I'm closing in on 50 in a couple of years. I've had the title of engineer, but I'm not an engineer. At least not on paper. So I will not be going prematurely gray. Obviously, I'm not going prematurely gray. Almost everybody that I went to high school with has more gray hair than I do. Steve, very good point. I have seen where engineers have been wrong, dead wrong. One of my worst ones ever was the engineer that designed a mechanical room, and I got a hold of the prints, and I'm looking at the prints, and all the equipment that they wanted to put in this mechanical room would fit. but it would not work. And I told the engineer that had done it, this isn't going to work. You're going to have to either redesign and increase the size of the room, or you're going to have to cut some of this equipment out. Well, you don't know anything. You're just an electrician. What do you know? And I said, well, I know that you're going to try to put a 200-pound man into a space that's only 18 inches wide and tell him to work. And it's not going to happen. There's not enough room for him and tools to get in there to actually do anything. So unless this is the first time ever that a mechanical room is going to have equipment in it that does not ever fail, then it won't work. You have to put in enough space for a full-size man to get in there and turn wrenches. Well, he didn't believe me, and I finally had to go to his boss and explain the issue. And as soon as his boss saw what the issue was, oh, by the way, transformers, you have to have a 36-inch clearance on the front side, legally, at least here in Texas. Your area might be different, but here in Texas, you have to have that 3-foot clearance. That's a set in stone. You will not pass the electrical inspection if it's not there, and it's pretty obvious. So when I explained it to the higher up, he went back and had a talk to that guy, and when the guy started arguing, he was like, maybe you should listen to some of these guys who are installing the equipment. They're trying to not make you look like a fool. Yeah, you kind of have to make sure that you're not going to have an arc flash every time you go to fix the equipment. And transformers are vitally important to equipment, because when your transformer fails, you don't have anything. Oh, you thought you had lights? No, sorry. All your power for the whole building is out and nobody can get in there to work? Yeah. Might be an issue. I mean, sure, a man-weight hole in a piece of steel is 12 inches tall, 16 inches wide. Well, if a man can go through that, he can work on this. No. A man is not supposed to work in a manhole cover. It is supposed to be used to get through so that you can then do what you need to do. Got to put enough room for a full-size man to work. All right. Well, there I go, running off about the mouth. Here we are at 1 minute and 30 seconds. Or, sorry, no, 30 seconds left before I'm out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been so much fun having y'all over. Glad y'all could sit with me. Jose Golf Piper, thank you so much for the package. I appreciated them greatly. As per always, remember, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Do the best you can with that. And as always, long lives, big bowls, and long ashes. Y'all take care. I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Gotta hit the end button. There it is.